जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी जय गिरिवर धारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Sutasara Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Sutasara Srila Bhaktisanta Saraswati Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai. Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Giri Raj Govardhana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Om Vishnu Praya Krishna Prasaya Votale Shrimati Indradubna Swami Tinamne. Namo Om Vishnu Praya Krishna Prasaya Votale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamne. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravanim Charini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatade Shatari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, Text 16. Right there, right? Sabha Chavataratrathyabhi Akridaya Tanapanahai Akridaya Tanapanahai Chaitya Dhwaja Patakabhir Yuktam Vidhruma Vedibi Sabha Chatvaraya Ratyabhi Sabha Chatvara Ratyabhi Akridaya Tanapanai Chaitya Dhwaja Patakabhi Yukta Vidhruma Vedibhi Sabha Chatvara Ratyabhi Akridaya Tanapanai Chaitya Dhwaja Patakabhi Yuktam Vidhruma Vedibhi. Let's see. Sabha Chatvara Ratyabhi Ratyakratana Tanapai Chaitya Dhwaja Patakabhi Yuktam Vidhruma Vedibhi Sabha Chatvara Ratyabhi Akridaya Tanapanai Chaitya Dhwaja Patakabhi Yuktam Vidhruma Vedibhi Sabha Chatvara Ratyabhi Akridaya Tanapanai Chaitata Japataka Yuktam Vidruma Vedivi. So we'll do the word for word. Sabha, assembly house. Chatvara, squares. Ratyabhir, by streets. Akridayatana, gambling houses. Apanai, by shops. Chaitya, resting places. Dvajapatakabhi, with flags and festoons. Yuktam, decorated. Vidruma, without trees. Vedibihi, with platforms. Translation. In that city, there were many assembly houses, street crossing streets, restaurants, gambling houses, markets, resting places, flags, festoons, and beautiful parks. All these surrounded the city. So you may repeat. In that city, there were many assembly houses, street crossings, streets, restaurants, gambling houses, markets, resting places, flags, festoons, and beautiful parks. All these surrounded the city. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. In this way, the capital is described. In the capital, there are assembly houses and many squares, many street crossing, avenues and streets, many gambling places, markets and places of rest, all decorated with flags and festoons. The squares are decorated with railings and are devoid of trees. The heart of the body can be compared to the assembly house, for the living entity is within the heart along with the Paramatma, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarvasya Chaham Ridi Sanivisto, Mata Smiti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. This heart is the center of all remembrance, forgetfulness, and deliberation. In the body, the eyes, ears, and nose are different places of attraction for sense enjoyment, and the streets for going hither and thither are compared to different types of air blowing within the body. The yogic process for controlling the air within the body and the different nerves is called Shushumna. The path of liberation. The body is also a resting place because when the living entity becomes fatigued, he takes rest within the body. The palms and the soles of the feet are compared to the flags and festoons. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhikanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchikalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhubhevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We'll try to say something on this verse and purport. And we'll find that Prabhupada here, he's comparing this body, to this whole city that's made up of this flags and festoons and, roads crossing here and there, and, all of these things. So, and in the purport, it's being described that the heart is basically the center of everything, right? And so we find here it is compared to the assembly house, right? The heart is compared to the assembly house. So like this, in the material world, and also there's one more point here that Prabhupada makes, and Sarvasya Chaham Ridi Sanivisto, so within the heart, right? Everything comes from the heart and the mind, right? Can anyone tell me where's the mind situated? Anyone? Take a guess. In the heart, yes. Very good. The mind is situated in the heart, right? And we find that sometimes they say my mind, and we point to here, the head, but actually it's situated in the heart, right? And so like this, so everything comes from the heart, and Prabhupada says, Sanivisto matar smriti jnanam apohanam cha. So remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness comes from Krishna also, right? And there's another point here that Prabhupada says, Shushumna. Shushumna is the base of the spine. So many yogis, when they practice, this is not recommended in this age, right, to control the mind and the senses. And from the base of the spine, right, the life air is brought up right through to the heart, basically like this. So this process is called Shushumna. But the yogis sit in a yogic posture, and they meditate, and they bring the life air, the prana, right up to until the top of the head, and then that's when it comes out, the soul comes out from the head, like this when they leave their body. So, and then they attain perfection. So this was done many previous ages long ago, in the Satya Yuga basically, and it's not recommended in this age. In this day and age, for controlling the senses, we need to actually engage in devotional service by using all our senses in the service of Krishna. In a previous class, I quoted Ambarish Maharaj and how he uses all his senses for the pleasure of Krishna. So like this, we need to engage our senses in devotional service. So we find that here, the glitter of this material world, as it is being compared here in this purport, of all the flags and festoons, and so all these are like, very decorative, right? And also in this material world, everything is very decorative, and it is like a phantasmagoria. It's basically false, right? And we think it's reality. In one sense, I won't say it's false, because these things can be used in the service of Krishna and become spiritualized. But for the materialist, it has no substance. And it's basically misleading us, right? All this glitter of this material world is misleading us. And we think that this is all in all. I was doing another class last night on an online class, and I was reading from my Guruj's new book called Sri Radha and her Astasakis, and there Gurudev is saying that the spiritual world is all reality, and this material world, is basically illusion. And we think, when we hear about the beautiful aspects of the spiritual world, we think that is like illusory, and because we are relative to this world, and from our experiences in this world, we think that this world is everything here is true, but actually everything is basically has no substance to it. It's a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, and the spiritual world is basically all in all, is a truth, right? And there, in this class that we are doing, it's basically explaining about the spiritual world and how beautiful it is, right? So this is not part of the book, but I'll just quote from Brahma Samhita. Chintamani prakara satma sukalpa vriksha laksha vritesu surabhir abhipalayantam lakshmi sahasra satasam brahma sevyamanam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. So there it is being described that the spiritual world, the ground is made out of touchstone, gold and jewelry and diamonds and pearls. So this is what the gold is made out of. The floor is made out of, right? And the houses are made out of so many valuable jewelry, and there's jewelry called lapis lazuli. So this is what the spiritual world is made up of, right? And we think like it's just like an hallucination, a fantasy. We think that the spiritual world is a fantasy. It's coming from someone's imagination. But no, it's the absolute truth, right? All these things are there. And kalpa vriksha, which means that there are desire trees. You go to any tree in the spiritual world, and whatever you ask for, you'll get, right? And this is all for the service of Krishna. And there are hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis, right? Lakshmi sahasrasanta sambrahma sevyamanam. There's hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis, koti, millions of Lakshmis that are serving Krishna. So, when we look at this, this is the spiritual world, it looks like it's like a make-believe. We think it's a make-believe. But actually, this material world is a make-believe. It's illusory. And we take it to be all in all. So in this way, this is the illusory potency, by Durga Devi. She's covering all of us. She has this covering potency, right? And she's covering all of us. And we are thinking that, I am this body, and everything in relation to the body is mine. So in this way, we are basically, we are in one way cheated by Durga Devi. And in her 8 arms, Durga is holding all these different weapons, right? And the axe, the machete, the chopper, mace, chakra. She also holds a lotus for those who are coming to Krishna. She gives the benediction. So in this way, and the trishul, not forgetting the trishul, right? And she's always inflicting pain upon us with all of these instruments that she's holding in her hands. She throws the axe, she throws the trishul, and we are inflicted with pain and suffering. And most people, they think this is very nice. And they basically they pray to Durga, for more suffering and more suffering, and also to please her in this way. But she doesn't want that. She wants us to pray to Krishna and to go closer to her Lord, right? Because she's none other than, in one sense, Srimati Radharani, who has taken this form as Durga in this material world to actually bring us closer to Krishna, right? So when she inflicts all this pain and suffering to us, then we come to this realization that, hey, what am I doing here? I'm suffering. I need to go to the Lord, and then that's when we turn to Krishna, right? But if we do not have this pain and suffering, then we think, oh, everything is rosy, hunky-dory in this material world. I'd like to stay here. No, but she wants us to go to Krishna, and therefore she inflicts all this pain and suffering unto us. And in one class I was listening by Bibi Govindaswamy, and he was saying, if all these instruments don't get you, right, all these weapons don't get you, then the tiger is definitely going to get you, right? So she rides on a tiger. So in this way, she's inflicting pain upon us so that we come to our senses. But, some of us are so dumb that we do not even, realize this. And Prabhupada, in other places, I was listening to another class, and deity is being described that there are 3 types of intelligence. People with intelligence that once they hear something, and they quickly, they imbibe that and they practice it and put it into their lives, right? Just by hearing. And the other type of intelligence is they may learn, they may actually experience, right, that something is bad, but they still go and do it. And then the third type of intelligence is that the third type of intelligence is that you hear something is bad, you know it's bad, you experience it, and you still do it on top of that. So it is described, just to put you in the right perspective, I'll describe this analogy of a thief. A thief he knows, everybody knows that stealing is bad, right? And if you steal, you go to prison. So you don't steal. So normal human beings won't steal. But then the thief, he knows that stealing is bad, and he goes and does it. And when he does it, he gets caught and put into prison. And then he may realize, oh, I shouldn't do this. And then the third type of intelligence is the thief, he knows stealing is bad. He gets caught, he is put into prison. And when he comes out after a while, he goes back and he steals. So there's these 3 types of intelligence. So we should be, that intelligent person that just by hearing, that something is bad, we should refrain from doing it. Right? Just by hearing that, therefore Prabhupada has given us all these scriptures that just by hearing the transcendental messages, we can make advancement going back home, back to Godhead. So Maya is described, Durga, another name, is called Maya. She's covering all of us, right, to remain in this world. But when she sees a devotee that is aspiring towards Krishna, then she helps. Right? One of her names is called Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is that Maya which helps us to progress in our spiritual lives. So there's a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 21:33, which is describing this, and it says, Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andhakara, Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Maya Adhikara. That Krishna is in the front and he's all light and he's, all auspicious, and Maya is just behind him and she's all darkness. So like this, once there's a beautiful pastime that's given by Jayapataka Swami. I could relate it to you, but I think it's best if I read it from this book. It's called the Navadvip Dhamma Mahatmya. And it's called Samantha Dweep, where Maya basically resides as Prodha Maya or Yoga Maya. So we'll just read from this chapter 6 it is. And so saying this, Nityananda Prabhu roared loudly and went on to nearby Samulya. He then described that place to Jiva. So here, Nityananda Prabhu is taking Jiva Goswami on parikram, and he's describing each place of Navadvip. Know this to be Samantadvip. Saints know Samantadvip to be on the border of Navadvip, on the south bank of the Ganges. In time, the Ganges will devour all but the sacred portion named Somalia, where materialistic people will worship Parvati. Listen to the story. One time during Satyayuga, Lord Shiva began madly dancing while chanting the names of Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. So Lord Shiva was dancing, right? Parvati asked him, please tell me, who is Gauranga? By seeing your astonishing dance and hearing the name of Gauranga, my heart is melting. All that I have heard in the way of mantra and tantra till now only leads to more entanglement for the living entities. My dear husband, please tell me something of this Gauranga. By worshipping him, will I receive actual life? We see that, here she's basically regretting. She's regretting because she cannot be in the pastimes of the Lord, right? Whenever the Lord comes down to this material world, then he brings his whole entourage from the spiritual world and he comes to this material world, right? And but Rangadevi, she's not allowed in his pastimes, right? So in this way, she's asking him, by worshipping him, will I receive actual life? Hearing Parvati's word, Shiva meditated on Gauranga and said, unto you, who is a primordial energy, one portion of Sri Radha, I will tell the crest jewel of all truths. Accepting the spiritual emotion of Sri Radha, Krishna will descend in this Kali Yuga at Mayapur in the womb of Sachi. Lord Gauranga, intoxicated with the pastimes of Kirtan, will distribute the jewel of prema to everyone without discrimination. Whoever does not drown in the flood of prema is most unfortunate. O Devi, just by remembering the Lord's promise that he will come, I pass my life drowning in love of God, being unable to control myself. I have given up my own city of Kashi. Within Mayapur, on the bank of the Ganges, I will live in a hut and worship Gauranga. So here Lord Shiva is explaining that the Supreme Personality of Godhead will come down in Kali Yuga in the form of Srimati Radharani and distribute love of God. And in this way, Lord Shiva is saying, I will renounce my Kashi. Kashi is in south of India. I will renounce that place and I will come to Navadvip and I will settle here just to receive the mercy of Lord Gauranga, because when he comes, he's going to give this mercy indiscriminately like this, and I want to be here. So hearing Shiva's words, beautiful Parvati quickly went to Samantadvip. As she constantly meditated on the form of Gauranga and chanted his name, she became immersed in prema. After some time, Gaurachandra appeared with his associates to bestow mercy on Parvati. His complexion was like molten gold. He had long arms, wavy hair, and beautiful limbs. He was wearing a long dhoti folded thrice, and from his neck swung a garland of flowers, which was very attractive to behold. In a voice choked with love, Gaura Rai said, O Parvati, why have you come here? Parvati fell at the lotus feet of the Master of the universe and with an agitated mind explained her sorrow. O Prabhu Jagannath, life of the universe, though you are merciful to all, you have deceived me. O deliverer of the fallen, you have appointed me to bind up all living entities in the material world who are averse to you. I have come into the material world to do this work and have thus been cheated of your unlimited prema. So here, she's telling the Lord, you have actually cheated me because you sent me here to do this thankless task of, covering everyone from your eternal reality and putting them into illusion. So, please have some mercy on me as well, right? So people say that wherever Krishna is, there is no Maya. I am therefore forced to always remain outside your spiritual realm. In the material world, so how will I ever see your pastimes? If you do not offer a way, I am without hope. Saying this, Parvati put Gauranga's foot dust on her simanta. Simanta is the line, that parts the hair. So that's the simanta. So she took the foot dust of Lord Gauranga and she put it on her simanta, right? The part in her hair, in great distress. From that, the name of Samantadweep came. So this name calls this area. First, it was called Somalia, and now it's been called Samantadweep because Parvati took the dust of Lord Gauranga and she put it in the parting of her hair. Ignorant people call this place Somalia. Gauranga was pleased and he said to Parvati, O Supreme Goddess, listen carefully to my words. You are my energy. You are not separate or different from me. My one energy has two forms within the spiritual kingdom. My original energy has one form as Sri Radha, but for carrying out activities in the material world, she has expanded herself as you. Without you, my Leela could not be accomplished, for in the form of Yoga Maya, you are necessary in my pastimes. In Vraja, you are eternally present as Purnamasi, and in Navadvip, you are present as Prodamaya, along with Kshetrapal Shiva, guardian of the Dham. So we find that Lord Shiva is basically the guardian of the Dham. In Mayapur, he's called, what we just read that now, Kshetrapal Shiva, right? And in Vrindavan, he's called Gopeshwar Mahadev, right? Where he's, at one point he was basically wanting to enter into the rasa dance in Vrindavan, but could not because, he was in a male form and only females are allowed. So, although Purnamasi, she basically dipped him into the Manasi Ganga and he came out in a female form, but still he had the snake around his neck. And when the gopis saw that, they were like terrified. And in this way, we find that, Lord Shiva said, no, you cannot answer. And they took him out of the rasa dance. And the Lord said, no, you cannot enter, but you can be, Gopeshwar Mahadev, and you can be the protector of the Dham. You can be like the bouncer, just don't let any males enter. So in this way, Lord Shiva is protecting the Dham, and he's there as Gopeshwar Mahadev. So this is his. So like this, we find that Lord Shiva is very special, because without his mercy, we cannot enter into the spiritual world. We have to pass through his abode also before we enter into the spiritual kingdom, like this. So, yeah. And if you're not eligible, he'll send you back here to this material world. So you have to be eligible to go to the spiritual kingdom, right? So, so like this, he's protecting Navadvip Dham, and as Kshetrapal Shiva, right? And Parvati, she's saying this, Gauranga disappeared and Parvati became overwhelmed with love. Parvati stays in one form of the goddess in Samantadweep and in another form as Prodamaya in Mayapur. So she's also Prodamaya, Yogamaya, and she basically helps the living entity to get into the pastimes of the Lord, like this. So so that's one of her pastimes. In another pastime that Jayapada Swami was relaying, he was saying that many people, they pray to the goddess. She has different forms, different names and different forms, like Santoshima and Chandi Devi, Durga, Parvati, and all these names, and she's worshipped differently. So once, when Janava Mata was traveling, she was going to Vrindavan, and as she was passing, she came upon a village, and in that village, people were worshipping Chandi Devi, and they were sacrificing goats and different, animals to Chandi Devi. And when the Vaishnavas saw Janava Mata, for those who don't know, is the consort of Nityananda Prabhu, and she was basically preaching when Lord Nityananda left and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left. Then she was basically preaching the Sankirtan movement, right? And she was all over the world, and she was actually going to Vrindavan at this point. And when the devotees saw Janava Mata, they all paid their obeisances to her, and they were very eager to see her, right? And in this way, when the devotees of Chandi saw this, they became very envious, and they said, what? They're supposed to pay their obeisances to Chandi Devi, and now they're worshipping this ordinary person? This is not right. What we're going to do at night when they all are sleeping, we're going to go and chop their heads off, and we're going to offer this to Chandi Devi. So they wanted to cut all the heads of the Vaishnavas and offer it to Chandi Devi. And Janava Mata, was there, and they wanted to harm her as well. So Chandi Devi, when she basically heard what her followers were saying, she became very, very upset. And when they were sleeping, she came into their dream, and with this horrendous form, and she was like a fire, very fiery form, and she told them, if you cause any harm to these devotees of the Lord, then I will chop all of your heads off. So please, when you arise, you go to them and you pay your obeisances to Janava Mata and her followers. So like this, they were very, very terrified, because they thought that, Chandi Devi is going to chop their heads off. So in the morning, they went and they offered their obeisances to the Vaishnavas and to Janava Mata, telling her that, what they were thinking of doing and causing harm to them. And in this way, how Chandi Devi actually saved them from causing so much of harm. So this is like Vaishnava Aparad, Maha Vaishnava Aparad, to kill a devotee, right? And Chandi Devi did not like this. She'll basically accept offerings, like whatever, goats and whatever, of lower nature, basically, but she won't accept offerings of human skulls like this. So in this way, and especially of devotees, she wouldn't do that, because she's a pure devotee of the Lord as well, right? She's a pure devotee of the Lord. She's been given this task. We all are devotees of Krishna, and we are given different tasks. Like we find the devotees here are making ghee wicks for the Lord, right? So this is their service, right? And then we may be given Ravindra Swarup, he sings for the Lord, like this. Then we get someone else doing arati for the Lord. So we all are given different services. So Chandi Devi's service in this material world is to keep everyone illusioned, keep everyone bound here. This is her thankless task. So in this way, she keeps everyone here. But when she sees a devotee wants to make progress, then she helps the devotee to make progress, to go back to her Lord, right? So, and then that is why she's complaining to the Lord, my dear Lord, you know, I don't ever take part in your pastimes because I'm always here in this material world. So, like, you know, like a warden of a prison house. The warden of the prison house, he has to keep all the inmates inside, right, the prison, and he has to take care of them inside there. He doesn't come out. Or sometimes when he gets leave or something, he comes out, right, like that. But he's not part of the prison. He's not a prisoner like that. So similarly, Chandi Devi, she's a warden of this prison house, this material world, and you know she's a pure devotee of the Lord, but she's given this service. So like this, you know, we should basically, in one sense, hold her in high regard, because you know who can do this service, right? It's only that pure devotee who is given this ability to actually do a service like this, you know, a very exalted person can actually do a service like this. And therefore she's complaining to the Lord that, my Lord, you know, you're giving me this service, and, you know, how am I going to enter your pastimes? And then he tells her, no, but you will take this form as Prodamaya and help those who chant the holy names of Krishna to actually experience ecstasy and come back to me. So the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Prodamaya has heard you chanting, and she will help you make progress back to home, back to Godhead. So, thank you very much. Anyone would like to say anything? Yes, Prabhu. Give him the mic.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
That was beautiful. Thank you for the class, for the talk, I don't know, what do we say? Do we say thank you for the talk, for the lecture? That was beautiful, Ma. Thank you. I have one question. When we're speaking about a big offense of killing a devotee, right? My question is, for one to commit suicide as a devotee, is it considered as one killing a devotee?
Yes.
Oh, snap.
Yes, Krishna has given you this life, and you have no right to take it, right? So if you commit suicide, then you're going against the laws of nature, and Krishna doesn't like this. And you know what happens when you commit suicide? You become a ghost, and then you don't have a gross body to enjoy or to do anything. Then you start to possess other people's bodies in order to enjoy. So you heard about people being possessed by a ghost? So this is the story. And you're going to remain like this for many, many years, like this. The other day, we were in the car, and we were talking about Highway Sheila. So Highway Sheila was a ghost, right? I think on Higginson's Highway, I'm not sure. But she would enter into the car, with people. When people were driving, she would enter into the car, and she'll sit next to the driver and, chit-chat. I don't know what she would do. So, like, I heard stories of this in my childhood. People used to talk about Highway Sheila, and they had some of them experienced many incidents with Highway Sheila. So, like this, because she doesn't have a gross body, she would try to enter into someone's body or so like this. So we're just talking about this Highway Sheila while we're driving on Higginson's Highway. And so this is a ghostly form. You don't have a gross body, so you have your subtle body, mind, intelligence, and your false ego still with you, right? So you basically know everything that's happening around. It's just that you cannot enjoy. You don't have a gross body to enjoy with. So then, you want to possess other people's bodies like that. So it's a suffering condition. So, Yeah. Yes, the time was not. Yes, exactly. So until the person's time is up. Then I was telling, yeah. Then I was telling them, so we don't hear of Highway Sheila now because I think her time was up. She went away. She got another body, right? So like this, until your time is up, you basically, then only will you take another body like that. So you don't want to commit suicide and be in the suffering condition. And actually, it's an aparad, right? It's a maha aparad. So I hope that answers your question. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay, so we'll stop here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol, Jai Pataki Swami ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Go.